Skoda Karoq SUV is the Czech manufacturer's replacement for the much-loved Yeti, featuring more conventional SUV-style looks and a design philosophy which ties in heavily with the larger Kodiaq 7-seater. Skoda will tell you that the Yeti's more conventional SUV replacement attracts younger buyers. Slotting into one of the most congested sectors of the market, the Karoq is set to go head-to-head with the high-end Tucson, Kia Sportage and hugely popular Nissan Qashqai, not to mention in-house rivalry from Seat's Ateca and Volkswagen's Tiguan, cars that share a platform with the Karoq. Does the Karoq come out on top? You'll have to read on to find out, but with 10.3 million SUVs expected to be sold by 2024, a 430% increase over 2010, now's certainly a good time for Skoda to hit the mark. New car, new name. Skoda decided that it wanted to establish a closer link to the larger Kodiaq. That meant the name had to start with a K and end with a Q. Kodiak Island in Alaska was the source of the new badge, where the population refers to a car as a Karoq, while an arrow, like the one on the Skoda badge, is called a rock. And so, Karoq was born. Regardless of etymology, the new car will need to stand apart from the Yeti because for a brief time the two will be sold alongside each other. Production of the older model will stop when the new car starts, but you'll be able to buy both in later this year, while dealers still have Yeti models left well into 2018. Generous standard kit levels across the range. Even if you opt for the basic A-spec car, the majority of customers will plump for mid-levels AL. There's still a good spread of standard kit to get your teeth stuck into. This includes 6.5-inch infotainment touchscreen, cruise control, dual-zone climate control, DAB radio, Bluetooth phone connectivity, rear parking sensors and SmartLink, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's plenty of potentially life-saving safety features too, including front assist autonomous emergency braking with predictive pedestrian protection. The vehicle can recognize and attempt to avoid pedestrians in its path. Multi-collision brake, automatically activates brakes after an accident. Emergency assist, brings the car to a halt if it detects the driver has collapsed, and blind spot monitoring. Skoda Karoq, practical with adaptable rear seats. Mid-sized SUVs need to be able to fit 5 adults and their luggage, something the Karoq does with relative ease. There's plenty of room in the cabin for 4 large adults with rear headroom, a particular highlight even with the optional panoramic roof in place. Middle seat passengers will bemoan the chunky transmission tunnel, robbing room to place their feet, but should be happy otherwise. Storage all around the cabin is excellent, plus boot space is a class-leading 521 litres with the rear seats in place and 1,630 litres with them down. You can also remove the back seats entirely should you wish, although this is a process that takes practice to master. Simple but effective engine lineup. There's only 4 engines on offer in the Karoq, and while none will set the world alight with their performance levels, they're all capable of doing the job. That said, the highlights of the range are either the 150 horsepower 2.0-litre TDI diesel or the 150 horsepower 1.5-litre TSI petrol. All engines are available with slick and easy-to-use 7-speed DSG automatic gearbox. Fuel economy and emissions figures aren't class-leading, but are enough to keep both private and company car drivers happy. The lowest CO2 rating belongs to the 115 horsepower 1.6-litre TDI DSG at 117 grams/km, as does best fuel economy at 64.2 miles per gallon. Not very fun to drive, but great comfort levels. The Karoq has been set up to offer a calm, comfortable ride and tranquil driving experience, something it achieves with aplomb. Road and wind noise are both low, while the ride and general damping is impressive, soaking up large bumps with ease. Potholes and cracks in the road can reveal a slight edge to the ride, especially on larger wheels, but not to the extent of ruining an otherwise relaxing driving experience. The pursuit of comfort means the Karoq feels soft and rolls a fair bit in corners, but is still perfectly stable and easy to drive at both high and low speeds. Those who enjoy a sharp, sporty drive should consider looking elsewhere, however. Verdict: the Skoda Karoq is predictable in its sheer competency. After making such a fine effort on the larger Kodiaq SUV, Skoda has followed up with a well-equipped, comfortable and seriously practical crossover. Access to the Volkswagen parts bin has also played a part, with the Karoq bagging the latest Volkswagen Group infotainment system and 1.5-litre petrol engine before the Ateca. For many, it will be all the family car they'll ever need. Detractors include a fairly narrow set of good but not spectacular engines and handling prowess that falls behind the seat Ateca and Ford Kuga. Even so, the Karoq has still gone right to the top of the class, a place which it will likely remain in for a while yet. 2 petrol and 2 diesel engines on offer. 1.5-litre TSI and 2.0-litre TDI provide enough performance space. 1.0-litre TSI struggles in the Karoq. The Skoda Karoq's performance is capable if unspectacular. The medium-sized SUV boasting a range of capable petrol and diesel engines for customers to choose from. Skoda Karoq petrol engines. The smallest engine on offer in the Karoq is the 1.0-litre TSI 115 horsepower. This produces 200 Nm of torque and can accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 10.6 seconds, 10.7 for the DSG automatic, reaching an eventual top speed of 116 miles per hour. Next up is the 1.5-litre TSI 150 horsepower, capable of going from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.4 seconds, 8.6 for the automatic, and on to a top speed of 126 miles per hour. Maximum torque is rated at 250 Nm. Skoda Karoq diesel engines. Like the petrol variants, there is 2 different diesel engines on offer, starting with the 1.6-litre TDI 115 horsepower. This produces 250 Nm of torque and is capable of accelerating from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 10.7 seconds, 10.9 for the automatic, reaching a top speed of 116 miles per hour. Finally, the most powerful diesel on offer is the 2.0-litre TDI 150 horsepower, which comes with 4-wheel drive as standard. Torque is rated at 340 Nm while 0 to 62 miles per hour is taken care of in 8.7 seconds, 9.3 for the automatic. Top speed is 121 miles per hour. Driving impressions. So far we've driven all engines apart from the 115 horsepower 1.6-litre diesel. The base 115 horsepower petrol is refined and perfectly capable in and around town, however does begin to struggle on motorways and during overtaking maneuvers. If you'll regularly be loading the car up with passengers and luggage or do mega motorway miles, we'd avoid the 115 horsepower 1.0-litre petrol. The 150 horsepower 1.4-litre petrol, meanwhile, is far punchier and offers up noticeably better acceleration and motorway pulling power. It is noticeably noisier than the 1.0-litre, especially at high revs, so bear this in mind before buying. Opting for the 150 horsepower 2.0-litre diesel would be considered the safe option, and it's not hard to see why. While a touch noisier than you might expect, it's got enough pulling power on motorways and is the motor of choice if you plan on using the Karoq as a tow car. 6-speed manual and 7-speed DSG option available. All engine variants offer the choice of either a 6-speed manual or 7-speed DSG automatic gearbox. The former is precise enough and easy to use, while the latter offers super slick well-timed changes as well as a manual override function. Sharp handling sacrificed in the pursuit of comfort. Still perfectly stable and grippy on all roads. Off-road ability will almost certainly exceed customers' needs despite sharing a platform and many mechanical components. With the seat Ateca, the Skoda Karoq feels significantly different to drive. Rather than go down the route of making the car feel sharp and sporty, Skoda has engineered the Karoq to be soft and comfortable. Safe and stable, but not exciting if you're looking for a sporty SUV. Stop reading now, as the Karoq does not fit into that category. That's not to say it's not nice to drive, it just has a rather more relaxed way of doing things. The steering, for example, while accurate and well-weighted, isn't particularly sharp or communicative. You still get a good idea of how the car is behaving, but it's not up there with the seat Ateca or Ford Kuga, for example. In normal driving conditions, the Karoq flows nicely from corner to corner and, despite its relatively large size, is easy to pilot through narrow city streets and tight, 90-degree turns. Push on faster into corners and you'll start to notice the body of the car roll, although never to extent where it feels wayward or unsafe. Grip levels are about average for a car in this class, and, once you do run out of purchase, there's just enough feel in the steering wheel to let you know the front of the car is beginning to push wide of the intended line. Parking is made easier thanks to standard fit rear parking sensors. Plus there is also the option to add front parking sensors, a reversing camera and automatic parking. The Karoq's off-roading credentials are more than adequate for the vast majority of customers, with hill descent control and an off-road drive mode fitted as standard on 4x4 models. Driver's seat offers plenty of adjustment and a nice, high driving position. Controls and dials are exceptionally clear and easy to use. Cabin materials feel well judged and impressively durable. Good driving position and well thought out cabin. Sat in the elevated SUV driving position, the Škoda Karoq is a nice, if not particularly imaginative, place to be. The dials and displays are all exceptionally clear, while the placement of both major and minor controls is an example of effective simplicity. There's plenty of adjustment in both the seat and steering wheel, the latter offering movable rake and reach, meaning that drivers of just about any size should be able to make themselves comfortable. Škoda Karoq, impressive infotainment screen. L and Karoq edition cars get standard fit 8.0-inch and 9.2-inch touchscreen infotainment displays respectively. Both are impressive to look at and offer clear, high-resolution menus and graphics. However, the lack of physical buttons around the screen make using the infotainment system while driving tricky, chiefly because you need to take your eyes off the road to see which part of the display you're pressing. Excellent build quality and durability. We've not yet been able to put the Karoq through an extensive build quality trial, but can comment that, on first impressions, the interior feels extremely well screwed together. All the switches and buttons feel solid, plus there's a pleasant feel to how the majority of them work. Škoda has also been clever with its use of cheaper materials. Harder, shinier plastics are generally kept well out of the way, meaning you'll only really notice them if you're actively looking. Overall comfort levels are very good. Some versions give better ride than others. Big, comfy seats are a highlight as mentioned in the handling section. Škoda has gone to great lengths to make the Karoq a comfortable, rather than sporty, SUV. Ride quality better on some models than others. All Karoqs boast an impressive ride quality with excellent damping and an unfussy nature over large bumps and ridges in the road. However, the 1.0-litre TSI and 2.0-litre TDI models possess the most pliant and well-rounded ride of all the models, with the soft, springy nature of the former a rare find in a market full of firmer, sporty SUVs. The 2.0-litre TDI is only available with more advanced suspension, and as a result there's less noise from the mechanical components when going over bumpers or cracks in the road. As ever, think carefully about which size of alloy wheel you want. The ride comfort adopts a noticeably sharper edge the larger the diameter of wheel. Overall refinement is also very good, although wind noise can become a little intrusive depending on the conditions. Which engine you have under the bonnet also makes a difference, with the 1.0-litre petrol being the quietest. Disappointingly, the 1.5-litre petrol makes a racket when revved hard, and barely scores better than the 2.0-litre TDI on the refinement front. Comfortable seats all around. Whether you stick with the standard fabric seats or plump for the optional leather ones, you're unlikely to be wanting for comfort. They're big, squashy and supportive, and are available with optional electric adjustment and memory function. Impressive standard equipment levels. 4 specifications on offer. Say technology. L and Karoq edition all include climate control, parking sensors and cruise controllers. Is now the way with many products from the Czech manufacturer. The Škoda Karoq's equipment levels are extensive. There are 3 trim levels from launch, namely L and Karoq edition. Standard Škoda Karoq SUV equipment. Cruise control with speed limiter, dual zone climate control, DAB radio and Bluetooth phone connectivity, autonomous emergency braking, automatic headlights and windscreen wipers, rear parking sensors, smart link connectivity, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. 17-inch Radicon alloy wheels, electrically adjustable, folding and heated door mirrors with auto dimming, front fog lights, halogen headlights, privacy glass, black roof rails, 2 ISOFIX points and foldable table on front seat backrest. Technology is a company car driver focused spec that adds 17-inch Triton alloy wheels, adaptive cruise control and Amundsen sat-nav. L. In addition to spec Amundsen sat-nav with 8.0-inch touchscreen display with European mapping, voice control and integrated Wi-Fi, color multifunction computer, drive mode select, front and rear parking sensors, full LED headlights with adaptive front light system, online information services, keyless entry and keyless ignition, rear view camera and smart link plus 18-inch Braga alloy wheels, Alcantara upholstery, chrome roof rails, headlight washers and a storage compartment below passenger seats. Karoq edition. In addition to L spec top of the range Columbus sat-nav with 9.2-inch touchscreen display, blind spot monitoring with rear traffic alert, electrically operated boot lid, electrically operated front seats with memory function, gesture control, lane assist, panoramic sunroof, traffic sign recognition and wireless phone charging, 19-inch crater alloy wheels, leather upholstery, LED ambient lighting and metallic paint. Optional Skoda Karoq SUV equipment. If the already generous levels of standard kit on the Karoq aren't enough for you, Skoda also offers the Karoq with a vast array of optional extras to choose from. For starters, customers can choose from a selection of different paint colors including standard solid shades, special colors, such as candy white, metallic and exclusive colors. On the inside, luxuries such as a heated steering wheel, aluminium pedal set, panoramic sunroof, standard on Karoq edition, and heated front and rear seats can be spec'd. Drivers who undertake plenty of motorway miles may also want to spec the optional assistance package 1, featuring adaptive cruise control, lane assist, blind spot monitoring and traffic jam assist, controls the steering, accelerator and brakes in a traffic jam. Finally, if you plan on using your Karoq for towing, an electrically folding tow bar can be specified. Solid 5-star Euro NCAP rating, standard fit, autonomous emergency braking, front passenger seat ISOFIX mounting is optional. The Skoda Karoq achieved, as expected, a full 5-star crash test rating when it was rated by Euro NCAP at the end of 2017. As well as a host of airbags, the Karoq also boasts the usual plethora of safety systems and driving assistance tech. This includes standard fit front assist, which scans ahead of the vehicle and automatically applies the brakes should an imminent collision be detected. A driver fatigue monitor can also detect when the driver is showing signs of tiredness and will advise them to stop for a break at the earliest opportunity. What's more, if the car is in an accident, the doors are automatically unlocking, so aid the quick exit of the vehicle. Optional safety and or driver assistance technology includes adaptive cruise control, lane assist, blind spot monitoring and traffic jam assist, controls the steering, accelerator and brakes in a traffic jam. How many ISOFIX car seats can I fit in Skoda Karoq SUV? There's 2 standard ISOFIX mountings on the outer rear seats, plus an optional one on the front passenger seat. Class-leading boot space, excellent passenger room storage space, also spot on. No matter how big the build of the driver and passengers, the Karoq is capable of accommodating 4 in comfort. There is room for a 5th, but if you'll frequently be using the middle rear seat, then think about specing the VarioFlex seating system, which adds a full-size center seat, standard on L cars onwards. Note, however, that even with the optional seating arrangement, legroom for the middle seat is tight thanks to a chunky transmission tunnel by the driver's feet. As well as affording a separate middle seat, the VarioFlex layout also enables users to slide forward or remove all rear seats to create more luggage space. Just beware that removing the seats isn't an easy task and will take some getting used to, not to mention some strong arms. Another useful feature found on other Skodas which has made its way onto the Karoq is the fold-down picnic tables on the back of the front seats. Part of a wider range of practicality features, the Karoq also boasts front door pockets capable of swallowing a 1.5-litre bottle of water, removable bins and some handy hooks in the boot space. It might be an SUV, but the Karoq really isn't that tricky to park, especially with the all-round parking sensors and reversing camera fitted. The steering is light at low speeds and easy to turn with one hand, the blind spots aren't too intrusive and the driving position gives a decent view of the car's extremities. If you tick the right option box, automatic parking is also available, meaning you can simply pull up next to a space and have the car drive into it at the press of a button. Whether you opt for the standard spec SE car without VarioFlex rear seats or pay a little extra for the L or Karoq edition models, the Karoq boasts class-leading levels of boot space. With the standard seats fitted, there is 521 litres of luggage space with the rear seats in place, rising to 1,630 litres with them folded down. However, when fitted with the sliding VarioFlex seats, rear seats up boot space is anywhere between 479 litres to 588 litres depending on how far the seats are slid forward. Fold the VarioFlex seats down and boot space is slightly less than the regular setup at 1,605 litres. Remove the seats entirely, however, and there is a gargantuan 1,810 litres on offer. Disappointingly, the variable height boot floor isn't available in conjunction with VarioFlex rear seating. Hooks for shopping and a partition net are also available for the Karoq's boot.